The U.S. has a unique diplomatic system in that many of its ambassadors are political appointees. Many political appointees have been exemplary ambassadors, a real tribute to diplomacy. The U.S. ambassador to Nepal in the mid-1970s was not one of them. Marketa Maytag was an influential politician in Idaho who had moved the delegates' support from Ronald Reagan to Gerald Ford at the 1976 Republican Convention. For this, she was rewarded an ambassadorship to Nepal, where her ignominious reign lasted from May 1976 until April 1977. The political officer at Embassy Kathmandu was David Fisher, who would later become ambassador to the Seychelles, and you got to check out that video. He describes Maytag as an oversexed, 50-ish divorcee who figured anyone in town was fair game. Her targets range from Marine security guards to Nepalese airline pilots. Within just 6 weeks of her arrival, fellow diplomats were already laughing behind her back. One evening, the Prime Minister of Nepal showed up at Fisher's doorstep. He said he had gone to the ambassador's residence for a supposed movie night, only to find the ambassador with, quote, 2 airline pilots and 3 Tibetan whores. So he left. When the King of Nepal was to make his first trip abroad, all the ambassadors came out in formal attire for the departure ceremony. The king arrived in a gold throne on an elephant. However, Maytag wasn't on the tarmac. The Nepalese chief of protocol had to lock her up in the VIP lounge because she was dressed only in jeans and a t-shirt and was screaming at everyone. There were other things as well, illegally charging things to her official residence expense account, leading a women's strike in front of the royal palace, from which she was taken by force by the Marine security guards. But the final episode came at the very end of her tour, when Jimmy Carter was elected, and she, along with all the other ambassadors, was supposed to turn in a formal letter of resignation, but refused. Instead, she drafted an infamous telegram 2 days before inauguration, stating that she wanted to build a 6-foot fence around the embassy to use it as an international people reserve, whatever that is. Needless to say, she was the first political appointee of the new administration to be fired. However, she didn't leave within the usual 30 days, but stayed there for 6 long weeks, despite pleas from the embassy to vacate the premises. Finally, the charge d'affaires got orders to send in Marine guards to the residence. She had somehow managed to change the locks on the doors, so they actually had to break them down. They then loaded all of her possessions and her, and took her to the Yellow Pagoda Hotel. She stayed at that hotel for the next 2 years. When she eventually did leave the country, she illegally brought Nepalese artifacts with her. The Nepalese government didn't even want to bother with her and let her go. ADST, follow us for more.